I've walked that forest trail every day for the past 3 years. Same path, same trees, same broken sign near the bend in the road. There has never been a door there. Not once. Until yesterday morning, when I saw it standing between the trees. Old, wooden, half covered in moss, and slightly open. The story. The forest sits just outside my town. It's not large enough to get lost in. Not really. A few winding paths, a small stream cutting through the middle, and a clearing where people sometimes picnic during summer. I started walking there a few years ago, just to clear my head. Same route every time. In and out within an hour. No surprises, no changes. Until the morning, the door appeared. It stood about 10 minutes into the trail, just past the bend where the trees grow thicker and the sunlight fades. At first, I thought it was some kind of installation. Maybe someone dragged it out there as a joke. But as I got closer, something felt wrong. The door wasn't attached to anything. No frame, no wall. Just a single wooden door standing upright in the dirt. And it didn't look newly placed. The wood was old, weathered and cracked. Iron hinges rusted and stiff. Thin veins of moss creeping along the edges, like it had been there for years, maybe decades. But I knew it hadn't. I circled it slowly. No footprints, no signs of disturbance. Just the door and the forest around it. The handle was made of dark metal, cold and dull, and the door itself was slightly open. Not wide, just enough to leave a narrow gap of darkness between it and nothing. I leaned closer, trying to see what was on the other side. But there was nothing. No clearing, no trees, just darkness. I should have walked away. I know that now. But curiosity has a way of making bad decisions feel reasonable. So I reached out and pushed the door open. The forest vanished. On the other side of the door was a room, a dimly lit stone room with high walls and a single narrow window, letting in pale grey light. Dust floated slowly in the air, and the smell hit me immediately. Cold, old, like something sealed away for too long. I stood there frozen, half in the forest, half staring into that impossible space. Then, slowly, I stepped through. The door closed behind me. The sound echoed through the stone room like a distant thunderclap. I turned instantly, reaching for the handle. But when I pulled it open again, the forest was gone. On the other side was another room, long, narrow, filled with rows of empty shelves. Panic surged through me. I slammed the door shut and opened it again. Same room, no forest, just that long, silent corridor of shelves stretching into darkness. I told myself to stay calm. There had to be a way back. There always is. Right. I stepped into the second room. The air was colder here. Each step echoed unnaturally, as if the space was larger than it appeared. The shelves lining the walls were covered in dust, but not empty. Not entirely. Objects sat scattered along them. Small things. A watch, a cracked phone, a child's toy, keys, hundreds of objects, placed carefully as if they meant something. I picked up the watch. The glass was broken, the hands frozen at 3:17. As I turned it over, something moved in the corner of my eye. At the far end of the room, there was another door. This one was different, taller, darker, its surface covered in faint carvings I couldn't quite understand. And just like the first, it was slightly open. I should have turned back, but there was nowhere to go. So I walked toward it. The closer I got, the quieter everything became. Even my footsteps seemed to fade, until the only sound left was my breathing. I pushed the second door open and stepped into a hallway I recognized. My apartment building. I froze. The walls, the carpet, the flickering light above the stairwell. Everything was exactly the same. Except it felt wrong. Too quiet. Too still. I walked slowly down the hallway toward my apartment door. Number 12. It was slightly open, just like the doors in the forest. My hand trembled as I pushed it open. Inside, someone was sitting at my desk. My breath caught in my throat. The figure sat perfectly still, facing away from me, wearing my clothes, my jacket draped over the back of the chair. Slowly, the chair turned, and I saw my own face staring back at me. But something was wrong. The eyes were darker, hollow, like something wearing my body, but not fully inside it. It smiled. "You weren't supposed to come this far," it said. My legs refused to move. My mind screamed at me to run, but my body stayed frozen. "What is this?" I managed to whisper. The thing tilted its head slightly. "Doors don't just lead places," it said softly. "They replace things." A cold wave of realization crashed over me. "What do you mean?" I asked. It stood up slowly, step by step, walking toward me. "You opened the door," it said, "and when you stepped through, it stopped just inches away from me." Something else stepped out. My heart pounded violently in my chest. "No," I whispered. It smiled wider. "You noticed, didn't you?" it said. "The shelves, the objects, everything left behind. The watch, the phone, the keys. They all belong to people who opened doors like you did." It continued. "And now," it reached out, "they belong to us." I stumbled backward, panic finally breaking through the paralysis. "Stay back," I shouted. The thing didn't move. It just watched me, calm, patient, like it knew something I didn't. "You can still leave," it said. Hope flickered in my chest. "How?" I asked. It pointed behind me. The door, the one I came through. I turned slowly. It was still there, slightly open. Darkness, waiting on the other side. I didn't hesitate. I ran. Through the door. The forest exploded back into existence around me. The cold air hit my lungs as I stumbled forward onto the dirt path. Birds chirped. Leaves rustled. Everything was normal. I turned around instantly. The door was gone. No trace of it. No mark on the ground. Nothing. I stood there for several minutes, trying to steady my breathing, trying to convince myself it had been some kind of hallucination, a dream, anything. But when I reached into my pocket, my hand froze. The watch, the broken watch from the shelf, still in my hand. I dropped it instantly, stepping back like it might burn me. That was 3 days ago. I haven't gone back to the forest since. I avoid that trail completely. I avoid thinking about it. But something has changed. Last night, I came home from work and unlocked my apartment door. Everything looked normal, at first, until I noticed something on my desk. A key. Old, rusty, and completely unfamiliar. Beside it was a small piece of paper with one sentence written on it. "Leave it open next time." I haven't slept since, because I don't remember bringing that key home. And I'm starting to wonder if something else did.